understand what I'm saying to you. Do you think my Father, Yah Allah, is pleased? I'm asking you. You tell me.
No way.
You can take Bill Gates, you can take Elon Musk, you can take Jeff Bezos, and you can take Mark Zuckerberg. You can take those individuals right there. And you now, 100 billion, 100 billion, 100 billion. You would get at least 500 billion. That's half of $1 trillion. And you can't get them to put it together to take care of the people. You can't even get them to put it together to pay off some of the United States of America's debt because they're just that greedy.
Yeah.
And you want to classify them as being abstained? You want to classify them as being leaders? You want to classify them as being motivators? I wish they would try to talk to me in a motivation manner. Bill Gates tried it. William Gates tried it at his house and asked him what happened to him when he tried to motivate me. Well, you could do this. This is very easy to do, doctor. All you got to do is pull a couple of strings. I said, why would I do that when I own you? When you work for me, why would I do that? You're on my land, Mr. Gates. Why would I want to have your success when you work for me? I own you. Oh, it's obvious that you must have checked down there and your grandfather spoken to you. No, he didn't speak to me. I spoke to him. I spoke to him while I was in hell, trying to kill your dad. Don't try to patronize me. Don't try to even patronize me with your patriotism. I don't need it. I don't need your motivation. I don't need your abstain. I don't need your respect or your honor. Because I realize that all of yours came from Lucifer while he was yet still in hell. Listen to me, people. Excuse me for those of you who may find this offensive. I am Dr. HENDO I.L. Henderson, known to the world as Yahoshua. I do not care about any of your heroes. I don't care anything about those that you now find to be some upstanding, outstanding, would-be so-called leader of the planet. I don't care anything about any of them. I don't. To me, they're all trash. For it says, with all that they can do, they would still be before Yahoshua Mashiach nothing more than a filthy rat. That's the way I see them all. I will always see them until after I've exterminated them all off the planet. Because anyone that's walking around now screaming he got all that wealth while people are dying is not fit for this world or any other world to come. Just the other week they were talking about Mr. Jeff Bezos. Supposedly he's donating billions of dollars to some would-be so-called charity. Let me help you out, Mr. Bezos. You don't own any money to send to any charity because the dollar is not worth anything. And if you're talking about some dollar value, let me help you out, Mr. Bezos. You're broke, just like everybody else on this planet. And I'm going to make sure that I let you know that. When you go to your bank account and you realize that your bank don't work anymore and they tell you insufficient, no, they're not going to just tell you insufficient. They're going to tell you it never existed fine. And when you try to come, I don't care. I'm not just talking to you, Mr. Bezos. I'm talking to all your whippy, wealthy friends out there. When you come to the so-called bank talking about some energy that you're somehow manufacturing or you invented or you finally done found under somebody's rock, that's capable of doing nothing more than generating something you call Bitcoin. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do for your Bitcoin. I'm going to make it disintegrate as fast as you tried to create it. Because I'm going to take the energy out of it. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to suck the energy out of everything you put on this planet. Well, it's coming. We get ready to test you come April the 8th. I'm going to see how far and how quick you can move, whatever you believe you got to move. I know. I've heard your requests. Your request that the people take and move their funds around, change their bank location. They can do whatever they want to do. As long as I have the control over what my beloved host, our host, just told me, that everybody is listening to the birds of the air. Let me help you out what the birds of the air are. They're known as satellites. And the satellites speak a language in which no one can understand except for Yahoshua Mashiach. because my father tuned every last one of those computers to the ear and to the mouth of Yahoshua Mashiach. They're listening to me now, and they're going crazy. The Richter scale is running all over the place, and that little needle just won't stand still. And they're believing that an earthquake is about to happen when it's nothing more than the rumbling of my voice. You don't believe it? I know. I don't expect for you to believe. As a matter of fact, as long as you don't believe it, you'll stay out my way. When you start believing it, you're going to get in my way. And if you get in my way, that's going to disturb me. And if you disturb me, I'm going to become angry, and you're going to perish in the way. Meantime, keep that in mind while I do us all a great favor and take a short break.
Thank you, sir. Yes, family. Those of you in the U.S. of A., you just think he's somebody just talking out of his hat. This entire planet recognize that voice. They know who he is. They've checked out all the documentation. They've checked his family lineage. They've checked his blood. His blood's all over those documents. He's still putting his blood on documents. They've tested it against the spear and the nail from the crucifixion. They already know who he is. Everything he's telling you, transparently, is fact. Complete and total fact, which is why every time he speaks, those of the evil ones, those of the unrighteous ones, are going nuts when he talks like this, because they know it's the truth. They're just not telling you that. So now, he has provided for you a way out. A way out. Your restoration, your redemption, your protection. Oh yes, I'm still talking about indexing. Because that is what he has put forward for this whole planet. And everyone must be indexed to participate. And again, we've told you umpteen times that the reset is way far beyond any kind of monetary system. Everything on this planet is being reset. The continents are shifting and moving back into their original creation, where Father Yah put them to begin with, before the big cataclysm that broke them up and everyone rode across on these different continents. That's going back. In fact, when you come back, sir, I do have a question for you. And so this is going to be my Q&A. Since the Earth is rotating counterclockwise now, how is that affecting time? If you could answer that when you come back, I'd appreciate that one, sir. But the time is changing now, family. We're moving at a much higher speed through time. He even mentioned it earlier on the call. Now, if it's because of the change of the rotation and the tilt, I'd like a little bit more of an explanation on that. But family, everything you've read in the scriptures, regardless of your faith, because it's all written, the same information is written across those scriptures. It's all happening right now. You're that generation. And some of you are saying, well, I don't believe he is who he is. Well, that's not going to change fact. That's not going to change anything. All that will do is change your location from present to hell. Because if you do not believe, you won't be here. This is his kingdom. So you can either accept it or reject it. That's on you. But right now, family, you are at a crossroads, and a very critical crossroads going forward, because the decisions that you make at this point in time will determine whether you live or you die. I don't know how to put it any more clearly, but the decisions that you make right now will determine whether you live or you die. Many of you will not taste death, but will enter right into Father Yah's kingdom, because that's what's been written, and that's where we're headed. And Father's already here. He's already let us know, Yahoshua's already let us know, that between the 5th and the 11th, a lot of things are going to be happening. 5th is just 2 days away from now. So some of you I've been talking to this week, you've been getting your things together to index. Make sure you get it done before Friday. Because if we do indeed have a disruption of communication, then that will affect our ability to be able to index you. We already knew that most of you are going to wait until the last minute if you're going to do it at all. Well, I'd say that your last minute is here. So now that you have opportunity, do it while you can. because, again, you're at the crossroads right now between life and death. Go to our website, sobcpr.com. Everything you need is there, including setting up your account, uploading your documents, and even getting your letter of index confirmation once we approve you. You can go back into your account and print it out. With that, I'll yield back to you, sir.
Wow. You know, you like sending me to the spirit of my father, don't you?
I must. I do that all the time, don't I? I'm sorry.
You like doing that. You like seeing Dr. HENDO get out of his body and Ya Allah totally takes it over. You like doing that.
I don't mean
I think you really like HENDO being on the planet. You don't like Dr. HENDO I.L. Henderson being on the planet. You just love when Yahoshua is on the planet and Ya Allah and he is walking and just having their way and being. You love doing that to me.
I like it.
So that you've summoned, now that you have summoned Yahoshua Mashiach and his father, let me help you out. You asked about time. Then let me give you your with the answer. I can tell you that the hourglass has been broken. Now, because the hourglass has now been broken, you're living minute by minute. And because you're living minute by minute, my father says now that minute has turned into a blink of an eye. And he asked the question to you, when was time when time was not?
When was time when time was not? I've heard that before.
My father made that phrase, when was time when time was not. I can tell you that time does not exist. Not now. Not anymore. Time does not exist. See, right now, the forces of this planet, known as Mother Earth, is battling Father Time. See, the fight is between the masculine force and feminine force. I have told you that, right?
Yes.
And now we have Mother Nature battling and fighting against Father Time. So I asked the question, when was time when time was not? Again, I say because you're no longer dealing with time. Now you're dealing with destiny. And destiny does not come by time. See, your submission to the planet right now based upon the number system, your submission. Everyone is in submission to the number system because that's what makes everyone's heart beat. Money, numbers. It makes everybody's heart beat. Wow, to be sitting at the tables with one known as someone by the name of William Gates, people they find him flattering. He's flattering. Even though he says nothing funny, nothing intelligent. But they find him so comfortable to be around because they believe that he's a rich man, a wealthy man. They look past all of his flaws to be so ignorant that when you ask him, do he own a comb, and he brings out a brush. Who in an intelligent mind, when you ask him, do they own a comb, bring out a brush? That's like telling him, we're going to cut wood, and he bring a hammer. That's not intelligent at all. It's totally ignorant. And anyone that finds that amusing or even find that to be of some wise move has got to be off what my grandmother would say, off the rocker. That's a dumb man, waiting to do nothing more than destroy the world with ignorance. Do you own a comb? And he brings out a brush, laughing. This is all I own. I know. I didn't ask you about a brush. Had I asked you about a brush, you probably would have brought out a comb. I need to see if you own a comb, because right now you need a comb, not a brush. Now, when was time when time was not? The hourglass, again, I said, has been broken, and now you're living minute by minute. And because that minute right now finds itself depleting as the earth begins to go counterclockwise, you're moving into what we know to be seconds. And seconds moves into milliseconds. And then you find yourself losing time. So what's beyond the millisecond of time? What's beyond that?
Millisecond.
There you go. And you keep going backwards in time until there's when time is not. Because it does not exist when it gets to a certain point of backing up. It no longer exists. Remember, our Father stepped out on the face of the deep and everything was void. That was no time. You do know that, right?
Right.
Are you following me now?
Yeah, time was created basically for man, was it not?
Yes. For man was not created basically for time, but time was created for man. My Father gave that to man. See, man, he created first, and then he gave man time. He gave man time to get it right. He gave man time to have a life. He gave man time to do what's right. Mm-hmm. And man has done nothing more than fail to use that time righteously. I'm not making any sense, but perhaps maybe there's a philosopher that can think greater. I don't think so, because I'm telling them the truth based upon the fact that these things I'm talking about, yeah, they might very well be heavenly things, but you cannot have heavenly things without earthly things. And that is something in which the majority of the so-called wise professors have not yet been able to articulate in any form or manner where it might be educational for everyone on the planet. This is why I used to tell my students, and I, as a brilliant student, they didn't mind waking up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and meeting down at the Whitby Library and looking for a book in which I would have hidden to see who would find it. Majority of the time, it was sitting right there on the front desk, right next to the bell, which you ring for. Just give me a to you, because they believed that it was going to be a difficult mission in which they had to go on, and they never thought there was going to be a mission whereby it would be so easy and so simple that it would be staring them in the face, and them having this great ambition to search the whole library to find it. They would go to every Whitby county. They would go into the archives. They would go into everything, and they'd be sitting right there on the desk, right next to the persistent bell. All they had to do was ring the bell. Can I get some help? And they would have thought, oh, there it is. And I never left the front. I would sit right there on that couch, facing the assistant counter, looking at the book. They would pass through, and I would say, have you found it yet? No, but I'm looking. I think I'm warm. I got hot. Okay. Let me know when you find it. Now, most people would classify that to be cruelty on my part, but I'm telling you, no. I wanted them to recognize that the answers that you're looking for is sitting, watching you. Your answer is looking at you. Come on, somebody. See, I could have got paid for this stuff in church, but I think they would have kicked me out after they would have figured out that it was really easy. Because that's what your would-be so-called ministers do every Sunday. They spend hours upon hours locked in a room away from their personal families, studying one verse for God, when the answer is simple and easy. All they had to do was live the word. Not find and study the word, but they had to live it. By their families being able to see them live it, they would have gotten it. They would have understood it. The answer, they would say, is blowing in the wind, my friend. Now, again, I say for your answer, when it was time, the time was not. And I'm telling you now, you're not actually living on time. We're not dealing with time. So what's happening right now, being that we're in a verse or a counterclockwise world, that time is backing up. It's rewinding itself for the new beginning. Does that make any sense to you?
Mm-hmm. That's basically what I was expecting you to say.
You weren't expecting me to say that. The Spirit already told you what I was going to say. You have to understand that that's how everyone is going to get up out of the grave. That's how everything is going to reset itself. Everything. I know. The scientists don't want me to tell you this because they're looking at all the bad people out there and they say, well, they're going to be given another opportunity to do this all over again. No, they will be given a new opportunity, but they won't be given a new opportunity to repeat what they've already done. They're not going to be. If they think for 1 minute they're going to be reset to repeat what they have done right now to destroy the planet, they're not coming back. That's the way it works. That's why everybody got to get their hearts right. That's why you got to make sure that you get it straight with God. Because if you don't, you ain't coming back. You will not return, Lucifer. Satan, you're not going to return. You and all your bald-head babies, none of them are coming back. I'm just giving you what's happening right now. And the vortex of life is going to open up. and the Shamahims will shine once again where time was not. And my Father once again will send his Son to step out on the void, and he will again say the words, let there be light. But this time it's going to be a change to that, because he's going to make these words, let there be righteous light. He's not just going to say light, because the people, they have to understand and understand that this word in which will be given has to be a word of definite manner, definite meaning, definite mission meaning. Let there be righteous light, not just let there be light, because you have to remember, even Lucifer was known as the angel of light. So when he says let there be light, Lucifer is going to show up again. So he's going to say let there be righteous light, and then Lucifer will not return. Is that making any sense in a simple term for those who really need it?
Perfectly.
Let there be righteous light. And anyone now who shows or shines that unrighteous light, or the unrighteous light are shown through them, they will not return. And now, I'm looking out here at this righteous light because it is the candle sitting on the desk. Right. Tells me I got a little bit of light left. Righteous light at that. So I'm going to go and get with the Father. I don't get a choice. No. I tried that one time. I told him, I said, I don't think I want to do it. You know what happened?
He said, do it anyway?
No, he slapped me on the cross. Once the blood runs all the way out of your body and you give up the ghost, you learn to not be disobedient at any cost. But anyway, that's another story. I'm only messing with him. I'm only messing with you because he's looking at me. He's still smiling. He likes that. He likes my bad jokes. You know what I'm saying? He likes them. So I'm going to go get with him, though, because he's waiting right now. I don't like to keep my Father waiting at no time. Because he sits where time is and time is also not. He's the infinite. He is the beginning and the end. He's the first and the last. Before him, there was none. I know for a fact, after him, there will be none. He's the Alpha and the Omega. Now, time for us to spend a little time together. That candle is burning bright. The desk is kind of wobbly. I don't know what it wants to do. Maybe it wants to start spinning counterclockwise, but I won't be concerned about it. Not me. So I'm going to go on out there, and I'm going to walk with him for a little while longer. He says everything's going to be all right. He says for the righteous, they will inherit the earth. He says for even the meek and the poor, they shall inherit the earth. Me, I think I fit all of those categories. So I'm just going to go and sit with him and learn some more things. You know, you can't be a bad student as long as you remember that teaching is caught, not taught. I love being a student. I will always be a student. I will always be learning. So now I'm going to go learn from my Father. My brothers and sisters, you get an opportunity to rest, get you some sleep. Yeah, you have earned this time that we are in, whether it be reversing, going forward. You've already earned it. You're going to be okay. Yes, you earned it. You're worthy of it. My Father said you're worthy of it. And thereby, receive it. You'll be fine. Close your eyes. I got night shift. I'm going to get up early enough to take the morning shift as well. So that you can sleep in late if you want to, unless you got to go to work, of course. So don't be going to work talking about Yahoshua, but she can tell me I didn't have to show up. But anyway, get you some rest. You've earned it. The world is about to go through some convulsions. You're going to see them going through something that could be classified the pains of labor. But they will be just fine if they just follow the doctor's instruction. Breathe. Relax. Breathe. Take some deep breaths. Relax. There you go. You're falling asleep. Get your rest. Peace and love. And nightfall.
Thank you, Yahoshua. And thank you, family, for joining us. Of course, we will be with you Friday evening at the same time.